Labour, with their mega majority, are going to have a final plonk on grammar schools, get the scissors, and then just, well, get rid of them completely.
Nigel.cecil, calling things out as you like it, especially for his fair-minded friends.
Hello, Chuckabutties, welcome. Like poles repel, unlike poles attract. Are you being kept in a box? Are you being segregated? Are you failing to expand your horizons because of politics? It was Donald Trump, I love this video, saying it's complicated, but it's not really complicated. Is it, Donald?
You know, it's complicated, but not really complicated when you get right down to it, right?
It's complicated, but it's not really complicated when you get down to it. Are you being kept in a box because of the way politicians treat us all? Like poles repel, unlike poles attract. So when it comes to ideology, well, of course, if we're in power, we believe we're correct. And if they're in power, they believe they are correct. So pursue your agenda. Class structure. Are the classes being kept in boxes? Cultural backgrounds. Are the cultures being kept in boxes? Is there any integration? Now we go back at your suggestion to grammar schools, because some of you are now concerned that Labour, with their mega majority, are going to have a final plonk on grammar schools, get the scissors, and then just, well, get rid of them completely. They've already had a pop at public schools, haven't they? You know, the private schools. So are they now coming for grammar schools? Let's just explore the background. Now, once again, I'm not saying, are we, Hillary, that we're correct? We're just putting forward the ideas. Because you bringing this to our attention, thank you for that, we hadn't really considered. Grammar schools. Grammar schools, who recalls grammar schools? Many won't at all. But others now, looking at what they are today, say, well, it's a better form of education than comprehensive schools. Back in the day, I went to a grammar school. At the age of 11, I had to catch 3 buses to the other side of the city over an hour, up early in the morning, sometimes in thick smog, dark winter's morning. But at the age of 11, we did so. And if you were short of money, the Education Committee provided a bus pass. And you know, everyone knew that young kids were all getting the buses, and we were looked after by everyone. Of course, times change. You say that couldn't happen now. But what was the effect? Well, the effect was, at the age of 11, coming from a working class background, back-to-back terraced houses, I suddenly met others the same age of moi. Well, they were different. They were posh. One particular person in my class had a Rolls Royce. A Rolls Royce, a house with 6 bedrooms. We were invited back there. Someone else, well, I'd never seen someone who was not white before. Everyone I knew, they were all white. And now, who was this person? I'm looking at the age of 11. And then this other person, they were definitely not the same as moi. But you know something? At the age of 11, we just accepted it. Because we were all the same. We'd gone there because we were academically supposedly gifted and we wanted to learn. So we accepted each other. Our horizons were suddenly broadened. For me to get in a Rolls Royce at the age of 12, what? But it inspired moi. And we give them some room to think about things as well. Because on the rugby field, you know, grabbing each other, I'll get you in a scrum, or even playing British Bulldog or going cross-country running, we all had to have the same uniforms at school. So the rich person couldn't be posh, or those saying, look at the iPhone I've got, look at my shoes. No, in the gym, you wore plimsolls. You had to make sure they were white yourselves. Turn up with plimsolls that weren't white, you were in trouble. But of course, there were problems with that system when you look back. the governments of the day spent more money on grammar schools, not as much on the technical schools, and then even less on the secondary schools. The secondary schools, where the pupils were deemed, because they'd failed the 11 plus, not to be academically gifted. So, of course, we can treat them, because at that time, of course, the United Kingdom needed the academics after the war. So let's get all the academics. There weren't that many jobs. After the war, things collapsed. But then, as times change, you say, well, this isn't a fair system, because those who are, well, working class, not academically gifted, they're not being treated the same as those who are fortunate enough to be academically gifted, going to the grammar school. So the comprehensives came in. Everyone equal opportunity, regardless of what your academic ability is. Now, some, of course, are gifted, just like someone might be gifted in their heritage with being a natural talent for a footballer. And of course, you can develop your football skills, whether you've got talent or not, really. And it's the same with intelligence. You're born with a certain innate ability, intelligence, but you can develop that. And whatever your background, working class or whatever your culture, you ought to have an equal opportunity to develop your academic ability, but being aware of your social background, because experience all the different social backgrounds and cultures expanded your horizons beyond our ken, didn't it, Hilary? So what was wrong? The thing wrong with the grammar schools, the governments of the day prioritised the money the wrong way round. They should have spent as much money funding the secondary schools. So the ability of those who at that time were not as academically gifted could be encouraged, could be nurtured. But there again, you see, that would guarantee social integration at an early age. Social education being given the same priority as academic education. So nowadays, some would say, we're just not integrated, are we? Everyone's in boxes. Is this what comprehensive schools do? Because if you look at the pictures of our grammar school, when we went back a few years later and the system had worked through the system after 8 years, the whole culture of that school had changed. And indeed, when you look at certain areas now in big cities, let's just take that particular city. Yes, at one side of the city, it's the working class comprehensive. The other side of the city, well, that's the posh side. They've all got a few quid there. And then that particular side of the city, it's all one culture. There's no other cultures there, because the dominant culture in that area is that particular belief, that ideology. So the comprehensive school becomes focused on that. It's different from everyone else. So everyone is kept in their own boxes. As far as looking back at things, it does seem very important that at the age of 11 or thereabouts, there should be a system of ensuring that everyone experiences integration of all the cultures, all the beliefs, all the classes. And the grammar schools enable that to happen. Incorrectly applied when it came to funding. So we're sort of asking the question on your behalf, is there any way now of looking at education and actually prioritising, along with academic education, social education? It's not about engineering. It's about giving the experience of everyone at a young age to, well, understand other cultures, other backgrounds, other beliefs, and the fact that, well, they're posh, but I'd love to get into your Rolls Royce. I mean, it does challenge you. So awareness of backgrounds, broadening one's horizons outside one's own box, whatever the restricted box is, surely has to benefit society in general. I better get up our box now. Do let us know what you think about comprehensive schools and grammar schools, like poles repel and opposite poles attract. Is there any way of politics all getting together? Because together, they could come up with a solution. That's why some say, well, you ought to have a government, a coalition government. But there again, they don't always reach decisions. They're too busy talking. I'm too busy talking now, aren't I? So do let us know what you think. Apologies for digressing again, Hilary. You'll have to give me more notes. So until the next time, can we find a way of broadening the horizons? What? Oh yes, Miriam Margolyes. That's going to be... We got a shock, didn't we, Hilary? Yes, in the sauna, in the gym. Can you imagine talking about Miriam Margolyes in the sauna? Better shut up. Until the next time, everyone. As we always say, good art, good work. And in showbiz, you better keep your fingers crossed. Professional solidarity, comrades, together. Had you better keep your fingers crossed for the survival of grammar schools? Do let us know what you think. Is Sir Keir Starmer and the Labour Party going to use their massive majority so they can take their radical progressive socialist scissors and see the end of grammar schools? What do you think? Fingers crossed? Please hit the subscribe button and join us again, because together every viewer helps. Thank you.